So, for all the US followers of the channel and those across Canada, I'm the smartest tool in the shed when it comes to my immediate family in the North Shore. When I say this, most of them are not journalists, and you wouldn't know the difference between a federal and provincial vote if it slapped them in the face and say, smarten the fuck up. Susan Holt, a longtime Liberal in New Brunswick, not on the federal level, but in New Brunswick, she was a colleague of former Premier Brian Gallant, won the provincial election in New Brunswick on October 21st over reigning two-term PC Premier Blaine Higgs. Now, Holt ran on a platform of change, basically to have equity and fairness that Higgs did not provide. She won 31 seats. Higgs' party won 16 with the Greens winning 2. Now, some people in my family and some people in the North Shore in their posts on Facebook were saying that a vote for Holt was a vote for Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau is not well liked across Canada right now. If anything, if he doesn't step down before the next election next year, he's probably going out with only 45 to 50 seats on the federal level left for the Liberals. Now, let me tell my family that's listening to this, and I hope you do, and I hope you comment so I can ban you off my YouTube because I banned you on my Facebook. A provincial wing of a party does not equate to the federal party, and I give an example. The Progressive Conservatives in New Brunswick have no connection with the Conservative Party of Canada led by Pierre Poilievre. Yes, they are affiliates, but the Conservative Party of Canada includes what was the former Alliance Party of Canada, the former Reform Party of Canada, and the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada, which was, again, lambasted and destroyed by Brian Mulroney in the 1993 vote. So, again, they were trying to say, oh, Holt can win, and, Trudeau would be telling Holt what to do. It doesn't work that way at all. I give an example. The recent BC provincial vote, there is no BC Liberal Party. So to say that Trudeau is going to run BC or he's going to run the NDP is wrong because the federal and provincial parties do not really link up on anything usually besides, a good cooperative agreement. See, Susan Holt is what you call a red Tory, which means she's cooperative. She can work with a red Liberal, which means she can work with everybody, just like a red Tory. Someone who's considered red is basically can work with any affiliation. I'll give you an example. Trudeau was a red Liberal, Pierre. He worked with Richard Hatfield, who was the PC Premier of New Brunswick for 14 years or 13 to 14 years of his mandate, and never the twain shall mix. Bill Davis had no connection with Joe Clark. He was the BC Premier of Ontario, and he never really saw head-to-head with Joe Clark. Now, the idea about thinking that a vote provincially, and here's why people were very confused. They thought it was a federal election. Can you believe that? In Canada, you get a card in the mail, be it for municipal election, federal election, or provincial election. It tells you if you're eligible to vote, what your address is. You say, okay, bring the card to the voting booth, either advance polls or voting day, which in case was the 21st. Any member of my family and any person in North Shore thinking this was a federal vote or a vote for Pierre Trudeau, anyway, if you voted for Holt, was completely wrong. I'll give an example. No more than 70% of the North Shore, the Acadian Coast and the Peninsula, and also on the rest of Gush West, voted for the Liberals. A dozen seats, and probably like Yvonne Godin territory, when Yvonne Godin run for the NDP in Batters, you would get 70% of the vote. The vote breakdown in the province was 48-38, but the majority of the people, the other parts of the province, either voted Liberal or Conservatives, with some votes for the Greens and the other myriad of parties. So what does this mean for New Brunswick electing Susan Holt? Well, the first announcement came today. A lot of people in the States don't know this, and this is a true story. On our power bills in Canada, it's 15% tax in New Brunswick. There's a federal tax and a provincial tax. Holt is going to take off 10% of that, or promise to, as one of her first parts of her new mandate. She's working on an anti-poverty method. Now, another issue in the campaign, which I talked to a lot of seniors, had nothing to do with the Liberals. Several months ago, as part of an equalization payment, Higgs promised $300 to seniors, but you had to make a certain amount of money to get it, or low income. So seniors and low income may have not been eligible for this, and you had to apply for it online rather than getting a check in the mail. How it works in Canada, your tax rebate check, your HST, and your equalization payment, like I said, the advance on your redeemable tax credit, which is a thing in Canada, can come in the mail. It just follows your CRA, your Revenue Canada money. Like you fill out a form, say how much you made in a given year to determine how much money you're going to get. So, will Susan Holt be better than Blaine Higgs? Yes, because Blaine Higgs destroyed his own party. We saw Jeff Carr and other conservatives in the last couple of days talk about the fact he alienated a lot of people with his kind of low-rent Donald Trump wokeism against Susan Holt. Basically, the policy was he was trying to control gender rights in New Brunswick. Right now, abortion rights are very limited in New Brunswick because there's only one location you can go for surgery to terminate a pregnancy, which is a violation of the Canadian Constitution, because within the Constitution, or the Charter, you're allowed to abort your baby without interference from a provincial or federal agency, the mercantile or stuff. I don't agree with abortion, but it's rights of the female should be the rights of the female. Now, another thing what Holt's going to be doing, he's going to try to raise up what's considered the lower middle class of New Brunswick. You're going to see probably rate control, job creation, certain methods in relation to getting more family doctors. I remember when the Liberals under Frank McKenna went in 87, when he knocked off Hatfield and swept every 58 seats. Within a year in the North Shore, I think they created upwards of 2,000 to 5,000 jobs, mostly at Port of Baldoon. I think what she has to look at as well is probably, it will never happen, but to twin the whole province on the highways. Right now, the 4-lane ends in Grand Falls and below Miramichi. We need to find a way to increase our transportation hub in New Brunswick. So for the people in the North Shore who think that Holt's going to be run by the Trudeau Liberals, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, okay? McKenna went in 87. Which year did Mulroney go in? 84. He came out in 93. McKenna ran 2 terms and he cooperated with the federal government in every shape or form, because a lot of the federal funding for the Port of Baldoon and other combination agencies, or what they call the triple play, municipal, federal, provincial, work together. Like, North Shore, there's a growing groundswell of conspiracy and pro-Trump and fundamentalist Christians who makes absolutely no sense. Everybody on the North Shore act like a bunch of whoremasters, and he fucked everybody and did all kind of negative things in the 80s. And now that they're getting older and they basically are guilty of what they did, having children out of wedlock and 7 or 8 common law wives or husbands over a 10-year period, now they found Trump and he found religion and they think they know everything about politics. They know nothing. They live through Facebook. They make weird posts. I'm not posting on Facebook. This is my YouTube channel. All I'm saying, get informed. Just because Perry Poilievre is putting commercials on every major TV show in Canada, including football and soaps, it's not an election yet. In Canada, there's a set term. Until the government comes down with what they call like a budget bill that is defeated or a non-confidence, there's no election. The next election will be probably fall of 2025. And Justin Trudeau might even not have been there. It could be Mark Carney, it could be Dominic LeBlanc, whoever's going to run the Liberals as Prime Minister. So hold your horses, North Shore. For the people who've been putting conspiracy comments on Facebook, you know where you are. You've been blocked anyway. I couldn't see them, but I've been told by certain family members, you lost your fucking mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, a vote for Holt as Premier, and she's Premier, doesn't mean that she's going to get along with Trudeau. This ain't like the States where Republicans dominate Republicans. A Liberal in Ontario, the Liberal of Winnipeg, and NDP in Winnipeg, NDP in BC is completely different compared to the federal level. There's no comparison, okay? Elizabeth Weir was an NDP MLA in New Brunswick. She was like a second premier for the province. Was she conservative? Was she liberal? She was NDP. She'll work for the whole province. Usually municipal and city concerns become more important on a provincial level, because the federal level has no indication what's going on at provincial level unless the premier tells them to. And look at what Hatfield did to create all the municipalities in the province with the backing of the Trudeau, the pure Trudeau Liberals. Every community in the North Shore is saying 1975 or 1974. So Holt getting elected is good because she's a cooperative approach. The people in the North Shore, including my own family, you know who you are. I'm not scared to say. I don't bother with you because you're a bunch of conspiracy theorists and holy rollers that misguided. But if you listen to this podcast and wonder yourself, why is Jeffrey saying this? Why don't you look in the mirror and say, why is this person who is part of our family saying this? You think you're smarter than me? I can debate any one of you all. You're a bunch of crackpots who you think that a vote for Holt is a vote for Trudeau. Leave it go. Thanks for listening. If you like what we're doing with our editorials on politics, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.